Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. Just making sure I'm on the screen. I called myself Apostate the Prophet yesterday when I was surrounded by Jews. Hello, everyone, and welcome. What's up? How are you doing? So today the International Court of Justice issued a preliminary decision to proceed with the case which South Africa brought to the International Court of Justice, which is which is an alleged genocide perpetrated by Israel in Gaza. Lots of people think that this is a complete waste of time. This is ridiculous. This is a joke. Other people think, yeah, of course, this is going to be amazing. But yeah, let's see what actually happens. I know lots of people are here. Earlier, I scheduled this live stream for later tonight on accident, although I was supposed to go live immediately. Very, very funny. Now, I want to summarize very briefly what happened here. In fact, I think I made a few notes here and wrote it down. Did I? Oh, yeah, I did. See, wow, I can actually sometimes do something. That's very funny. So I made my notes here quickly from when I listened to it and also when I read the decision, and I will put the decision on the screen in a little second, or 2 little seconds. But to briefly just get to my primitive summary here of things, today's case at the International Court of Justice was basically to decide in advance or temporarily what will happen and how the court will move forward from here. It's the case is South Africa says we want to go to the Court of Justice on behalf of the Palestinian people and to protect our own rights as people in this party to demand that Israel be punished for committing genocide, and we have the evidence right here. They presented a bunch of evidence which much of it seems ridiculous. Some of it could be taken to court. Okay. And today, the International Court of Justice and Israel, by the way, Israel said, Israel demanded that the ICJ, the court, dismiss the case completely because it's a ridiculous case. South Africa's immediate demand was for the court to issue an immediate ceasefire order. So tell Israel to do a ceasefire command. The ICJ... So here are the 2 demands. Israel asked for dismissal of the case. South Africa asked for immediate ceasefire. The first decisions announced here by the ICJ today are that they dismissed Israel's demand to reject the case, and they upheld it. In fact, I will read it in a minute. They said that there is a plausible case to follow here. Libel said, I have no sound. You must be the only person who has no sound because everybody else can hear me. Even I can hear me, and I usually don't hear me. Yeah. In response to South Africa's demand to issue an immediate ceasefire, the ICJ did not issue an immediate ceasefire demand. So the International Court of Justice, and this is actually very important, the International Court of Justice, despite being asked by South Africa to issue an immediate pause or ceasefire order, didn't issue that order and thereby rejected that offer or that demand. So it looks like the ICJ currently doesn't see a need for to command Israel to stop the fighting immediately. That's the issue. At this point, they have not confirmed that there is a genocide ongoing, but they have also not rejected it. They only maintain at this point that there is an alleged genocide happening and that there is some evidence presented by South Africa and evidence against by Israel and so on. They did come to certain conclusions, which I will go into in a minute, but to briefly summarize the conclusions here, the decision is for Israel to moving forward as they continue the fight to prevent acts of genocide. So they did not say there is a genocide taking place and Israel needs to stop committing genocide. They said that Israel must make sure that no genocidal acts are committed. Then they cited a few pieces of evidence brought by South Africa that certain Israeli figures in the government gave genocidal speeches or said some genocidal things. And that Israel must make sure that such things do not happen, such speeches do not happen, and that they are punished. Although I think, as far as I remember, they did not necessarily clarify that they actually do find certain speeches genocidal. They only considered the evidence brought by South Africa and urged Israel to make sure that no genocidal speech is taking place. And they also demanded that Israel, within 1 month from now, from today, brings to the court their actions or their measures in order which they took in order to prevent a genocide or genocidal actions from taking place, plus that they should also do their best to assist the civilians that are uninvolved in the Gaza Strip. So here's the thing. It might seem like the International Court of Justice is kind of giving Israel a slap on the wrist here, like, hey, go, make sure you're acting nice. But the other side, on the flip side, the demand by South Africa and all the others was for the International Court of Justice to say, no, there's clearly something very bad happening here, and Israel must even stop. Israel must immediately stop fighting. The ICJ didn't do that. They didn't do that because, and this just shows one thing, to be honest. This just shows one thing, which is that when people out there today say there's obviously a genocide taking place, there's a genocide ongoing, it's clearly a genocide, how can you not see? If you are not seeing it, then you are literally endorsing and approving a genocide. Well, guess what? The International Court of Justice disagrees. The International Court of Justice disagrees. Because the International Court of Justice, which is the one that is appointed to watch, genocides and condemn them and stop them and judge those who commit genocides, did not say, yes, there is clearly a genocide happening, Israel must stop fighting now. No, they implicitly basically approved of Israel's right to continue the operation, but told them to prevent genocides from taking place. Shurish Ifadi said, learn to read, perhaps, AP. What are you talking about? Did they? 25,000 dead Palestinian civilians. Yeah, okay, it's very cool that you're saying this, but here are the facts, man. Here are the facts. And we can go into the document. I actually have the whole transcript or the whole decision released by the ICJ directly on their own website. You can find it right there. So the ICJ did not say there is a genocide taking place. Stop now. The ICJ also mentioned very, very clearly in their document and also in their speech, which took quite a while, 50 minutes or so, I believe, that Hamas must also observe the very same standards and that Hamas must release all hostages immediately. This is a very funny point. ICJ said Hamas must release all hostages immediately. I'm saying this is a funny point because after the ICJ issued a decision, Hamas actually made a declaration and said the following. They said, in case the Hague-based ICJ issues a ruling to cease fire. Wait a minute, this is before. Okay, this is before. They issued a statement later on, which I will find in a second. So they basically said that they welcome the decision by the ICJ and that they will comply with it, which is a very funny thing. Come on, I just had the link here. Anyway, let me just take the summary from Marian Alfal, who said, official Hamas statement, thank you, ICJ. We welcome the decision of the International Court of Justice, which indicted by the occupying state on charges of genocide. The decision of the International Court of Justice means stopping all form of aggression against our Palestinian people in Gaza. We call on the international community to oblige the enemy to implement the court's decision and stop the ongoing crime of genocide against our people. This is very funny. They're making it look like the ICJ actually confirmed that there is a genocide taking place and that Israel should stop fighting immediately. The ICJ didn't do any such thing. Yeah, the ICJ didn't do any such thing at all. And on top of that, the ICJ explicitly said, and I can bring the document out here in a minute, explicitly said that Hamas must release all hostages. In fact, I think it was article that was very far at the end. Let's see. So the document is here. This can be directly downloaded from ICJ CIJ.org. Is that it? Yeah. And you can find the document right here. It says, let's see, 80, 82, 83, 84. Here, 85. The court deems it necessary to emphasize that all parties to the conflict in the Gaza Strip are bound by international humanitarian law. It is gravely concerned about the fate of the hostages abducted during the attack in Israel on October 7, 2023, and held since then by Hamas and other armed groups, and calls for their immediate and unconditional release. Immediate and unconditional release. Hamas yesterday said that they are willing to comply with whatever the outcome of the ICJ is, and that they will release the hostages as soon as Israel releases all prisoners. All prisoners. And here it is. Here the International Court of Justice says an immediate and unconditional release. Will Hamas actually follow this decision here? Or will they just completely ignore this? I can bet they will ignore this entirely. I can bet they will completely ignore this. If they are actually willing to abide by the decision of the ICJ, then you should probably today, tomorrow, or sometime see that they will release all the hostages that are currently still in Hamas captivity, some of whom are badly mistreated, others executed. Will they do that? I doubt it, because this is what Hamas is. This is what the international community is. Will the international community now pressure Hamas to release all the hostages? We'll see. Will South Africa say, okay, as a party to this whole issue, we agree and we urge Hamas now to release all hostages immediately, otherwise there will be consequences? I doubt it. I doubt it. As for South Africa, the court basically just maintained that they present their evidence, and that's it. There's nothing much to say to South Africa in this case. So this is basically pretty much the summary. If you want to read the entire document and not rely on people on social media just feeding headlines and all of that, the entire thing is available here. It's not even a very long read. You could even feed it into a thing to have it summarized, but it is 86 articles. 86 paragraphs, and it is only a preliminary decision right now in regards to the genocide claim, and it only serves in order to establish whether there is a case or not and what they can do at this stage. And at this stage, the ICJ, I repeat, does not deem it necessary to issue an immediate ceasefire order. If the issue was actually so obviously serious as South Africa, Turkey, and all the other Hamas and TikTokers who are all very much on the same level of credibility as they claim, then the ICJ would have probably issued an immediate ceasefire command. Unfortunately, nope, no such thing is happening, because there simply is no demonstrable genocide that is taking place. Of course, if a genocide was taking place, if it was demonstrated, it would be worthy of condemnation. I am very much on Israel's side. I defend Israel in this issue completely. I think that I am I believe very, very much that Israel is fighting a just war in this case. But if the ICJ did come to compelling conclusions and said, based on this and this and this and this and this, according to these laws and this convention, we conclude that there is a genocide taking place, therefore Israel must be held accountable, I would say, okay, yeah, I guess we have to go with that. But here is an issue. Here is the issue. Is while the ICJ told Israel to prevent genocidal acts from taking place, they made specific reference several times in this entire document to paragraph 44 in this document, in the decision. The article says, the court recalls that in order for acts to fall within the scope of Article 2 of the Convention, the intent must be to destroy at least a substantial part of the particular group that is demanded by the very nature of the crime of genocide, since the object and purpose of the convention as a whole is to prevent the intentional destruction of groups. The part targeted must be significant enough to have an impact on the group as a whole. This may sound much more complicated than it actually is, but what it basically is saying is, so it must be established in order for the ICJ to rule that Israel is committing genocide. It must be established that Israel is actually acting with the intention to commit a genocide. So with the intention to destroy a population, to annihilate or severely destroy and inflict permanent damage to that population. And the intent needs to be demonstrated, and it needs to be demonstrated that Israel actually did commit acts which permanently damage and risk the existence of that population. In which case we're talking, in this case, we're talking about the Gaza and Palestinian population. Guess what? Lots of people would agree with this, that it is impossible. From everything we have seen so far, it is impossible for South Africa or anyone to demonstrate that this is what Israel is doing. So maybe at the end of all of this, South Africa should be brought to the Court of Justice for wasting everyone's time and basically committing genocide on all our brains and our time that we have, that we could have spent on so many other things here that are actually useful, such as eradicating Hamas and making sure that no hostages are left in their hands. But yeah, this is it. It has to be established that there is an intent to destroy a substantial part and to inflict damage which contributes to the annihilation of that group as a whole. You can't demonstrate that, not in this case. I could even guarantee, I'm sure if we look at the population growth, it's probably not affected at all, the Palestinian population growth during this war. There are some other interesting points here, like the Palestinians appear to constitute a distinct national, ethnic, racial, or religious group, and hence a protected group. According to the United Nations, Palestinian population of the Gaza Strip comprises of 2 million people. Palestinians in the Gaza Strip form a substantial part of a protected group, which is any ethnic group or any nation would be a protected group. The court notes that the military operation being conducted by Israel following the attack of 7 October 2023 has resulted in large numbers of deaths and injuries. This is actually a very important paragraph here. Follow me here. As well as the massive destruction of homes, the forcible displacement of the vast majority of the population, and extensive damage to civilian infrastructure. Nobody denies this. While figures, look at this, very important, while figures relating to the Gaza Strip cannot be independently verified. Did you hear that? Do you see that? Do you see that? While figures relating to the Gaza Strip cannot be independently verified, recent information indicates that 25,700 Palestinians have been killed, over 63,000 injuries have been reported, over 360,000 housing units have been destroyed or partially damaged, and approximately 1.7 million persons have been internally displaced, and so on. I have been saying this forever. I said this during the debate to Daniel Kikichu. I'm saying it to others. They keep denying it. They say, no, the UN confirms that the numbers are true. But the decision here by the International Court of Justice delivers the amount of Palestinians killed according to recent information also relying on Hamas information, but they maintain that the figures relating to the Gaza Strip cannot be independently verified. So anyone who after this point, still comes and says, well, of course we know it's true. It's absolutely true. 30,000 Palestinian children have been killed. Or 26,000 Palestinians have been killed. It's true. Even the UN confirmed it. Just tell them, here, you have the International Court of Justice report published directly by themselves, saying that it cannot be independently verified. There you have it. There you have it. Humanitarian Affairs described Gaza has become a place of despair. This is a quote. Public health disaster is unfolding. Unprecedented 93% of the population facing a crisis levels of hunger. It's been 100 days since the devastating war started, killing and displacing and so on. This is actually quoting UNRWA, the Palestinian organization, part of the United Nations, and so on. So the document makes something. Oh yeah, here's actually just to see one thing which implicates Israel and seems to be a problem for Israel. Let's see. The court recalls Israel's statement that it has taken certain steps to address and alleviate the conditions faced by the population in Gaza Strip. The court further notes that the Attorney General of Israel recently stated that a call for international harm to civilians may amount to a criminal offense, intentional, including that of incitement, and that several such cases are being examined by Israeli law enforcement authorities, and so on. So Israel is aware and must take measures to prevent civilian harm as much as possible. The court concludes on the basis, this is actually the most important part, from 75 on. The court concludes on the basis of the above considerations that the conditions required by its statute for it to be to indicate provisional measures are met. It is therefore necessary, pending its final decision, for the court to indicate certain measures in order to protect the rights claimed by South Africa that the court has found to be plausible. This is an important paragraph here, which pro-Palestine and anti-Zionist people may bring up, and pro-Israel side may consider problematic. In paragraph 75, the International Court of Justice basically says, in response to Israel's demand that the case be dismissed, says that it may not be dismissed and that there is a substantial case, a plausible case to pursue this the proceedings and to investigate whether a genocide is taking place or not. So the International Court of Justice, in response to Israel's demand to dismiss the case and just shake it off as ridiculous, says, nope, we're not dismissing the case. It is plausible. So and that's expected. Many cases start like this. It doesn't mean anything at all for the final conclusion. In the end, the ICJ might come to the conclusion, yes, it was plausible, and we have now concluded that a genocide is taking place. Or they might say, yes, there were plausible concerns, but we have concluded that there is no genocide taking place. The funny thing is that it might take many years for the court to actually come to a conclusion. That's the big problem here. The court recalls that it has the power under its statute. Yeah, it has the power. I got the power. This is basically what this article says. It says, I got the power. In the present case, having considered the terms of the provisional measures requested by South Africa and the circumstances of the case, the court finds that the measures to be indicated need not be identical to those requested. The court, this is important, the court considers that with regard to the situation described above, Israel must, in accordance with its obligations under the Genocide Convention in relation to Palestinians in Gaza, take all measures within its power to prevent. Lots of people misinterpret what this says. To prevent, not to stop, to prevent the commission of all acts within the scope of Article 2 of this convention. In particular, A, killing members of the group, B, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, C, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, and D, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. The court recalls that these acts fall within the scope of Article 2 of the Convention when they are committed, when they are committed with the intent to destroy in whole or in part a group as such. And then it refers to paragraph 44 again, which I read above, which describes what the intent to destroy a population would look like. So the court further considered that Israel must ensure with immediate effect that its military forces do not commit any of the above described acts. Lots of people argue with me on Twitter and everywhere else and say this is victory. The ICJ is basically telling Israel to stop committing genocide. No, that's not true. That's not true. If the ICJ said or told Israel to stop committing genocide, that would require for the ICJ to acknowledge that Israel is committing a genocide. That's not true. You can't find anything like that here in this article. That is not the case. The ICJ only commands or orders Israel to prevent genocidal acts from taking place. That's why it says prevent here and not stop. And then points out that these actions here may constitute a crime by the Genocide Convention if they are committed with the intent to destroy a part or a whole of a certain group, in this case, the Gazan Palestinians. That's it. That's it. So all the court is saying is basically Israel must make sure that no genocide is taking place. That's it. It doesn't say Israel is committing a genocide or potentially committing a genocide and must stop now. If that was the case, they would have ordered a ceasefire, but they did not. They did not. The court is also of the view that Israel must take all measures within its power to prevent and punish the direct and public incitement to commit genocide in relation to members of the Palestinian group in the Gaza Strip. The court further considers that Israel must take immediate and effective measures to enable the provision of urgently needed basic services and humanitarian assistance to address the adverse conditions of life faced by Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. Again, no allegations, no assertions that Israel is preventing this, just that Israel should make sure that civilians are taken care of. Israel must also take effective measures to prevent the destruction and ensure the preservation of evidence related to allegations of acts within the scope of Article 2 and Article 3 of the Genocide Convention against members of the Palestinian group in the Gaza Strip. So far, there is no evidence of Israel destroying any evidence at all. On the contrary, much of the evidence brought against Israel is public record. Israel, and here finally, Israel must submit a report to the court on all measures taken to give effect to its order. The court recalls that it has the power reflected and so on. In view of the specific provisional measures, it has decided to indicate the court considers that Israel must submit a report to the court on all measures taken to give effect to this order within 1 month. The report so provided shall then be communicated to South Africa, which shall be given the opportunity to submit to the court its comments thereon. So the court basically says Israel has 1 month from now to present all of its measures that it has taken in order to prevent a genocide from taking place. Again, no acknowledgement that it is taking place, just measures taken to prevent it from taking place. Finally, it calls all parties to abide by this. The court reaffirms that the decision given in the present proceedings in no way prejudges the question of the jurisdiction of the court to deal with the merits of the case or any questions relating to the admissibility. It leaves unaffected the right of governments of the Republic of South Africa and the State of Israel to submit argument in respect of those questions. And finally, in paragraph 85, they call on Hamas to immediately and unconditionally release all the hostages. Alhamdulillah. This is a victory by Allah against Hamas. Allah is not on Hamas's side, it looks like. That's the problem here. That's the problem. Hamas should find a new God. That's pretty much it. And then here are the votes. There are 2 judges out of all in the court that have ruled against all of the points made here. Let's see. 15 votes to 2. They said Israel should prevent genocides from taking place, according to these things here. Everyone voted for this. 2 voted against it. One is Judge Sebutinde. She is from a judge from Uganda, Ugandan judge. I don't know why she voted against all of these things. And Barak is the Israeli judge on the court. State of Israel shall ensure with immediate effect that its military does not commit any acts described in point 1 above. Everyone voted for, the 2 voted against. And by the way, it's a legal system. If somebody votes against this point, that doesn't mean that they don't agree with the statement. It just means they don't agree with the legal proceedings of it. So that's it. By 16 votes to 1, State of Israel shall take all measures within its power to prevent and punish the direct and public incitement to commit genocide. Here, even the Israeli judge voted for it, and the Ugandan judge Sebutinde still voted against it. And another order, everyone voted for, she voted against. Another order, everyone voted for, the 2 voted against, everyone for, the 2 against. I'm really curious what her reasoning is, though. Like, I mean, nothing against her, no offense. Just wondering. I'm just wondering, like, why? What did she actually vote against? She just doesn't. I don't know. There is actually hold on. There is actually a very lengthy explanation for her decisions, and I actually saw a document detailing all of the reasoning that she gave. There's a long document in which she explains why she is against these decisions. Let's see, and you can find all of this here. Look, it's that easy. You don't have to accuse anyone or trust anyone. You go on the page of the International Court of Justice, and you see the latest announcements here. You find the latest decisions here, or pending cases here. You go on to pending cases, and here, I should have. Wait a minute. I say it's easy, and then I'm just clicking around without aim. Application of the covenants. Okay, convention, not covenants. Press release. Press releases, oral proceedings, written proceedings, provisional measures. Let's see. Okay. Order of 26 January 2024. Declaration of Judge Zhu. Here. Dissenting opinion of Judge Sebutinde. I need to verify that I'm not a human. Okay. 11 pages long. This is her reasoning why she doesn't agree with the votes. I'm not going to read that, to be honest. If anyone is curious, go ahead and read it. I'm not going to do that. I have to be very honest here. But to find the final document, which I have been reading here, you can just go on the International Court of Justice website. It says here, latest decisions, order of 26 January 24, and it's right there. It's that easy. You go in here, you click on this, and it's right there. The entire document for you. Everything that I just showed. And you can use all of this, go through it, search for terms like, earlier someone was like, liar, nowhere it says anything about releasing hostages. Oh, really? How about let's search the document for hostages here. Look what it says here. Unconditional release demanded from Hamas. Huh. So what was it about being a liar? Yeah, anyway, that's how it goes. So that's what the document says and what the court said. So basically, Israel said, dismiss the case, it's ridiculous. The court said, nope. South Africa said, issue a ceasefire order now, immediately. This is very important. The court said, nope. That's it. And then the court said, Israel, make sure there is no genocide happening, but you may continue fighting. and Hamas release all hostages now, unconditionally. That's what they said. I want to make this very short. I'm quickly going to go through super chats, and I'll be live tonight with David Wood on his channel. Notice said, my daily jizya payment for you. With this, you could pre-order the new Hearts of Iron 4 DLC. Is there one? I actually have a monthly subscription right now, which is like $5, just to play all the DLCs. Although I haven't played it in a few months, because I don't want to pay for the whole thing. There are so many. If you wanted to buy all of them, you would pay. You would pay for, I don't know, 5 games. That's the price it amounts to. Yeah. Anyway, I hope it made it much easier for everyone to understand what's actually happening, at least for those who didn't follow the announcement and all of that. If there are anything that you guys want me to clarify or to look up in case I haven't covered it, let me know, please. DNB said, so the case is not dismissed, thus it's not over. Yeah, it's not over. It's not over. There are some people who did say, who claimed, or who made it look like the case is dismissed as ridiculous or anything like that, and South Africa just wasted everyone's time. That's not entirely true. The ICJ explicitly points out that they do not dismiss the case, and that the case is plausible, which means it's not necessarily true, and a genocide is not necessarily taking place, but there is a plausible case to be discussed and to be investigated. In the end, they may conclude that there is a genocide taking place or not, but they rejected Israel's demand to dismiss the case. And they also rejected South Africa's demand to issue a ceasefire order. So both sides are kind of rebuffed at that moment. But the very important point, and I want to emphasize that once again, is that South Africa, with the encouragement of others, including Hamas, of course, were claiming that there is an obvious case of genocide happening in front of everyone's eyes, and that denying this would be like denial of genocide, that therefore this must be immediately stopped. The International Court of Justice disagrees. There you have it. There you have it. So if anyone says at this point, there's clearly a genocide, how dare you? How can you not see this? How can you not see this? You are approving of genocide. Well, sorry, the ICJ agrees that there is no, the ICJ doesn't agree that there is a genocide taking place at the moment, and that it's so obvious. That's it. Sorry. Let's see. Ayatollah Khamenei said, I am today announcing my lawsuit against South Africa for having the GDP of the state of Mississippi and having only one toilet per 10 square kilometers. Really? I know that South Africa is a pretty bad place to be. There's no denying to it. In fact, it's so ridiculous. In Gaza, the standards of living are higher than in South Africa, I think, according to the data. But for certain, the life expectancy in Gaza is longer than the life expectancy in South Africa. In South Africa, you are much more in danger to be robbed, attacked, or raped, and so on. It's out of all the places in the world and all the states and authorities in the world, South Africa coming out and doing this, it's a little bit ridiculous. It's a little bit ridiculous. Alex L said, huge fan of AP and Daily Wire. Please, I'm just kidding. Huge fan of AP and David Wood. Please accept my Zionist Brooklyn shekels. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You should have done this in shekels, though. This only counts as half a shekel. But thank you. I appreciate it. And the Tater said nothing, but made a super chat just to support and to enable genocide. Thank you, the Tater, for enabling genocide, literally. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Ayatollah Khamenei said, South Africa, what's going on in Gaza is genocide. Boris, there is a really insane situation in South Africa, isn't there? Of groups calling for genocide against white people. White people. don't want to go very much into it. I only know very little of the situation there, so not something that I can discuss in detail. The data said, AP, thank you for your constant commitment to truth. I pray for you to come to Christ. Peace of Christ be with you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm only doing this for the money because I'm paid by Israel. I don't really care about the truth. Who cares about truth nowadays? No, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Ramona V became a YouTube member and just became part of our cult. And just so you know, Ramona, there is no way out once you enter. Thank you for being part of the cult and growing this cult and making sure that we will have world domination soon. C made a super chat. Thank you so much. Tsuruerusu said, see the final page of Judge Sebutinda's dissent. Okay. I can do that. I shall do that right now. Let's see. See the final page. Let's see what it says. Provisional measures, dissent by Judge Sebutinde. I don't even know if that's how it's pronounced, but I guess. See the final page. Let's see what the final page says. Final page. You want to read the conclusion? Let's see. For all the above reasons, I do not believe that the provisional measures indicated by the court in this order are warranted and have accordingly voted against them. I reiterate that in my respectful opinion, the dispute between the State of Israel and the people of Palestine is historically a political one, calling for a diplomatic or negotiated settlement and for the implementation in good faith of all relevant Security Council resolutions by all parties concerned, with a view to finding a permanent solution whereby the Israeli and Palestinian peoples can peacefully coexist. That doesn't really tell me much here, honestly. Lastly, a word about the Israeli hostages that remain in the custody of their captors and their families. I join the majority in expressing the court's grave concern about the fate of the hostages, including children, babies, women, the elderly, and sometimes entire families, still held in custody by Hamas and other armed groups following the attack on Israel of 7th of October 2023, and in calling for their immediate and unconditional release. See Order, paragraph 85. For those who don't get it, those who don't want to acknowledge it, the court calls for the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages. I would only add the following observation. In its request for provisional measures, South Africa emphasized that both parties to these proceedings have a duty to act in accordance with their obligations under the Genocide Convention in relation to the situation in Gaza, leaving one wondering what positive contribution the applicant could make towards diffusing the ongoing conflict there. During the oral proceedings in the present case, it was brought to the attention of the court that South Africa, and in particular certain organs of government, have enjoyed and continue to enjoy a cordial relationship with the leadership of Hamas. Wow. Okay, I see it. Does Uganda have a historical beef with South Africa or something? I don't know. Wow, they actually pointed this out. If that is the case, then one would encourage South Africa as a party to these proceedings and to the Genocide Convention to use whatever influence they might wield to try and persuade Hamas to immediately and unconditionally release the remaining hostages as a goodwill gesture. I have no doubt that such a gesture of goodwill would go a very long way in diffusing the current conflict in Gaza. Wow, this should be brought more to the attention of the public. Right? During the oral proceedings in present case, it was brought to the attention of the court that South Africa, and in particular certain organs of government, have enjoyed and continue to enjoy a cordial relationship with the leadership of Hamas. This is a very big implication here. And I'm glad that a judge actually brings this up as a very important point, close to the conclusion. And I hope this is brought up continuously throughout the proceedings, where South Africa is forced to make an explanation about this fact here. This is important. Well, thank you for bringing this to my attention. Tsuruwerusu. This is actually very important. Now I'm glad that I read that. Huh. Interesting. Nice. Jesse said, AP, thank you for what you do. No, thank you, Jesse. Thank you. How dare you thank me? My name is Sean, with a profile picture where Ali Dawa and Muhammad Hijab are kissing each other. Says, this is an actual picture, right? It's an actual photo taken where they kiss each other. Said in Turkish, the eyes are the leather strap of the anus. Gözler anus'un delik ayışıdır. You posted the same thing yesterday in Hebrew, didn't you? I saw that you made a Hebrew super chat yesterday while I was live with Joseph and Josh, and I didn't even want to take and translate what it means. I imagined that it's probably that in Hebrew. C said, I have no idea what this means. I'm just kidding. I have to pretend that I don't speak Hebrew so that my cover as a secret Jewish agent is not blown, which is why I'm going to use Google Translate now to find out what this says. Oh, is that Am Israel Chai? Is that what it is? Maybe I should learn to read. Nice. Israel, people of Israel live. Israel lives. Kenny Demeter said Israel should prevent genocides from taking place, so they go harder against Hamas then, as Hamas is the one most likely to commit genocides. Hamas is the side that explicitly made the statement that they want to commit a genocide. So it's true. It is true. Wait a minute. What the heck? I'm just seeing that David scheduled tonight's live stream without even telling me what the live stream is. And I'm only seeing this now. This is tonight's live stream. David, maybe you should have told me about this. Atheist cries as Russell Brand talks about God, Jesus, and the Bible. What is this? This is funny. David. All right, let's see how that goes. I was actually going to look for something different. What was I going to look for? Oh yeah, I was going to look for Hamas announcing their intent to commit genocide. Fatih Hamad.
في عندكم يهود في كل مكان، يجب أن نهجم على كل يهودي متواجد في الكرة الأرضية ذبحا وقتلا بإذن الله سبحانه وتعالى. بكفي تسخين خلاص.
That was Hamas spokesperson from their political bureau in charge of Palestinian media, or Gazan Hamas media, in charge of educating the children of Hamas or of Gaza, saying that you have Jews everywhere and you shall kill them. It's only one example, of course. There are many examples, many such examples, many such cases, such as only recently this guy in 2018 also saying that they want to eradicate all the Jews or to cleanse Palestine of the filth of the Jews. That's what he said. Let's see. Let's find that quickly and put that on the screen. Let's not just make allegations here, right? Let's go directly to the evidence here.
في هذا اليوم وفي هذه التجليات بفضل الله سبحانه وتعالى لنتطلع إلى أمرين مهمين نحن قاب قوسين أو أدنى منهما. أولا هو تنظيف فلسطين.
The first thing to look forward now is the cleansing of Palestine of the filth of the Jews. This is an explicit statement to commit genocide, an explicit statement to have the will to commit genocide. This is not just some rando. This is a Hamas appointed spokesperson who is still in charge of Al-Aqsa TV, the main media organ of Hamas. He clearly says that they look forward to two things, the first of which is the cleansing of Palestine of the filth of the Jews.
هو تنظيف فلسطين من دنس اليهود واستئصالهم بإذن الله، وهو قاب قوسين أو أدنى. 4 سنوات إخواننا، 2022 بنكون خلصنا منهم. أما الأمر
He said this in 2018, and he said by 2022 we will achieve this. We will achieve cleansing Palestine of the filth of the Jews. That's basically what this guy said. If you now want to call this guy from a Jewish perspective Amalek, or somebody who wants to eradicate us Jews altogether, which is why we must do anything in our power to fight them and to destroy and prevent and to destroy them, how is that unjust? How in the world is that unjust? This video is from Carfer Ask, what year is this? It's from 2018. So in 2018, he said in 4 years, by 2022, we will have taken action to remove the filth of the Jews from Palestine. That's what he says. Of course, their goal was to do that, apparently, according to him, in 2022. They did their operation in 2023. And it failed. Now they are hoping that the International Court of Justice can save them. Although their own spokespeople in charge of the media say that their will and their goal is to cleanse Palestine of the filth of the Jews. That is genocide. That is genocide.
الأمر الثاني وهو إقامة الخلافة بعد أن تتعافى الأمة من سرطانها وهو اليهود بإذن.
The second goal is to establish a caliphate after healing the nation of the cancer, which is the Jews. A caliphate. And you actually have leftist people in the West supporting these guys and saying it's a resistance group. It's a resistance group. It's a resistance group because all they want to do is to establish a caliphate and eradicate all the Jews. And Israel doesn't allow this. This is literally oppression. They're just resisting Israel. Stupid, idiot bastards. Anyway, yeah, that's that. Let's see. What else? And this is why, I mean, they deserve to be eradicated, right? Speaking of Hamas, Hamas deserves to be eradicated. And those unruly and those unable to live with others, with neighbors, with Jews, those unable and unwilling to live in peace in the land that they have, maybe should leave, maybe should piss off and relocate themselves to a different place. That is not ethnic cleansing. You could take a statement like this, which I said, if it came out of the mouth of an Israeli official, as ethnic cleansing, it is not ethnic cleansing. If you say, these people, we have tried everything, obviously don't want to live with us. They continue fighting. They continue advocating for our removal. They continue, encouraging violence and so on. Maybe it's time for you guys to leave. That is not a statement for ethnic cleansing. What else do you want to do? Should the alternative be to give in to their demand and just be destroyed by them and raped by them? Or should you just carpet bomb all of them and annihilate them? What's a better solution? Maybe the better solution is just to say, guys, relocate yourselves, go live somewhere else. Kenny Demeter says Israel should prevent genocide. Yes, exactly. Flame of Prometheus, thanks for life at a reasonable hour. Sincerely, Europe. I know, I should care more about Europe. Europe is much more in need of conversations involving Islam, Islamism, terrorism, Israel, and so on. Uzair Jibril said new game dropped, Pal World. Some enemies are called Free Pal Alliance. Mossad confirmed. It's UE5 BOTW Pokemon Guns. UE5 isn't that Ultimate? No, what is that? What is BOTW? BOTW. Why am I missing all of these references? I know what Pokemon is, obviously. Breath of the Wild. What is UE5? Isn't it? Oh, you're referring to the Unreal Engine. Jeez. For some reason, my mind went to Battle Simulator or something like that. I heard of Pal World. I saw some headlines. I haven't really had the time to look into it at all. It looked like a Pokemon-esque world. I haven't looked at it at all. I know. I had the very same reaction. I know. AP. I know. I had the very same reaction when I just realized that I didn't notice that UE5 stands for Unreal Engine. I know. I had the very, very same reaction. I thought to myself, what the hell is wrong with you? And I will repent, and I hope you can forgive me for this moment. AS1002 said, I think Israel should decide who runs the Palestinian Authority. I want to say a lot of things about the future of Palestinians in the region. I don't know. I think Netanyahu, together with other Israeli authorities, said in response to what's going to happen in Gaza in the future, he said there will be no more Hamasistan or Fatahistan or anything like that. So they do not intend to establish a self-governing authority and leave them alone in Gaza anymore in the future. And honestly, I don't think that anyone will be able to stand up and say, no, we disagree, stop it, let them self-govern once again. Sorry, that's over. Some people don't seem to understand it, but it's over. It is over. That is over. It happened once. In Israel left Gaza in 2005. Israel committed ethnic cleansing. Yeah, Israel committed ethnic cleansing in 2005 by removing all Jews, all Israelis from Gaza, forcibly removing all Israelis, even those who don't want to leave, who say, hey, we have built our homes here, we have built our settlements here, we're not going to leave now. The Israeli government said, well, you have to leave. You have to leave. They forcibly removed all Jews from Gaza and said, we will completely disengage and we will let them govern for themselves. It took them 1 year to elect the worst terrorist group and appoint them as their government, which then immediately rejected any peace agreement and said they have no intention to ever stop fighting and to ever recognize Israel, and so on. And since then, it has been terrorism nonstop. You think that Israel still intends to ever give Gaza self-governance? That's over. It's over. It's done. And that's good. It should be over. It should be done. Sir Dr. Whitemeat said, in the island of Kilotropis, there were birds becking at the niches. Oh yeah, you wrote a book about that, right, Sir Dr. Whitemeat? Oh gosh, people who don't know about that speech by Zakir Naik won't understand what's happening here. Mary but not the virgin said, watching live for the first time due to the time difference. By the way, here, yeah.
I'm a medical doctor.
Yeah, Zakir Naik is a medical doctor. Just wanted to point it out since we're talking about him. Due to the time difference, love AP and David Wood Company with the long videos while doing stuff in the house. Huge fan from Norway. Thank you so much. Appreciate that very, very much. Norway. I find Norway very mysterious. I want to go there one day. It's too cold, though. Kirsten made a super sticker, which I am sure is a very nice one. That says, that's a coffee. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for your heart. I didn't make it, honestly. I didn't make that heart. But I appreciate it still. And thank you also for yours. Thank you. Cup of Indian Tea said, "Hey AP, Dalia Ziada is an Egyptian editor that stood for Israel amongst the others, as she had witnessed some horrific stuff through media. She is now in another country due to threats. Please check out." Name sounds familiar. Dalia Ziada. Name sounds familiar. Name checks out. Never heard of her. No, never heard of her, actually. I will check it out. We'll check it out. Might have heard of her. I don't know. I'll check it out. But the face doesn't seem familiar at all. My name is Sean says, LOL, yes, I did. Oh, yeah, you typed in Hebrew, the eyes are the leather strap of the anus. Fantastic job. Cup of Indian Tea, thank you for what you do. Love both David Wood and AP. Thank you so much. And David Wood is currently invisible here by my side. He's also saying thank you, although he never says thank you in response to anything because he's a psychopath. Curious Cat said, are you going to cover Hitler liking Islam? Yes, I do. I'm going to schedule a live stream for next week to go through that. Liking Islam, we'll do that. My name is Sean said, yeah, but how cute he looks in that white shirt. Yes, exactly. Who are you talking about? I don't know. Yes. Kenny Madam made a super chat. Thank you so much. Aviel Yagudev says there is no such thing as Palestine. Aouni Al-Hadi. I said I was going to do this short, and now I'm again over an hour. This is terrible, man. Look at this. Oh, completely unreliable. Terrible stuff. Yeah. The thing is, you know what? When it comes to the whole Palestine conversation, the term Palestine, I feel like there is some nuance to it where sometimes I want to tell the pro-Israel people, some of them, to make peace with the word Palestine, because the word itself is not really acknowledging Palestinians or Palestine or something like that, or the region Palestine in itself is not an acknowledgement that there was once a state named Palestine or anything like that. In fact, the Zionists themselves used and acknowledged the name Palestine. And even the creators of the modern state of Israel acknowledged that that the Arabs in the land may establish their own state and might name it Palestine, for example. This is on record. They acknowledged that, and they had a whole discussion about it. There was even a discussion on whether their own state should be named Palestine or not, and the conclusion was the Arabs might also create a state and they might call it Palestine. So it would be very odd if we created a state and named it Palestine and they also did the very same thing. Back then in the day, a Palestinian was just somebody who lives in the region, and the Jews were also called Palestinians. Palestinian Jews. The Zionists were called Palestinian Jews by Western people, for example. It's only later, as the conflict went on, that the Arab side began adopting or basically appropriating the term and turning it into an identity that supposedly described them for centuries or millennia, which is completely false. The Arabs didn't call themselves Palestinians before the 1900s. Golda Meir called herself Palestinian. Yeah, she said, I'm a Palestinian. Because the word Palestinian didn't mean what it means today, according to Palestinians. They have distorted and misused it for their own political agenda. There is even proof. Look at this. Lots of people might not know this because these are kind of obscure records about obscure historical records. There is even a document which shows that in the early days of mandatory Palestine, British mandatory Palestine, the Arabs were very clear that they don't want to separate that land into its own nation or anything like that. Oh yeah, here I tweeted about this a while ago. Let's put this on the screen quickly. Lots of people are completely unaware of the history here. I tweeted, here is evidence that Palestinian Arabs had no distinct national identity. In 1919, look, 1919, that's very early, the local Arabs held the first of several congresses known as the Palestine Arab Congress. In this Congress, they concluded that the land should become part of Syria and not a separate nation. This is on record. This is directly from the, what was this called? Oh, It's right here. Palestine Arab Congress. Okay. Palestine Arab Congress. And the name Palestine Arab Congress here actually implies that it's an Arab Congress within the region of Palestine. So here they don't even use the name Palestine for themselves. They just use it as the Palestine region Arab Congress. The Congress rejected political Zionism, agreeing to accept British assistance if it did not impinge on Arab sovereignty in the region. Palestine was envisaged as part of an independent Syrian state, governed by Faisal of the Hashemite family. The resolution of the Jerusalem Congress were as follows. This was in 1919. We consider Palestine nothing but part of Arab Syria. Yeah. Yes. These are Arabs in 1919 gathering on behalf of all the Arabs in the region. We consider Palestine nothing but part of Arab Syria, and it has never been separated from it at any stage. We are tied to it by national, religious, linguistic, moral, economic, and geographic bounds. You see that, right? Rejection of French claims to the area, and here, our district, southern Syria or Palestine. So they don't consider this a nation or a national identity. It says our district, southern Syria or Palestine, should be not separated from the independent Arab Syrian government and be free from all foreign influence and protection. According to this very early Arab Congress here in the region, the Arabs were imagining that they are merely part of a greater Syrian Arab state, and they had no intention nor will to ever separate themselves as a separate nation. To them, they were part of the Syrian Arab nation. That's what it was. So when people nowadays claim, oh, there was always a Palestinian entity, it's always a Palestinian nation, that's nonsense. That's an invention which happened after Zionism, which happened after Israel, after modern Israel. Yeah. Chloe said, until Islam is gone, there will be no peace. I agree. I agree. I agree. My TV said, I was hoping Israel show Hamas she is for rape video. Yeah. Yes, I agree. I agree. C said, thanks for streaming early. I needed this after the ICJ ruling. You do great at work, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And happy to see you here. Happy to have you here. Chloe L, it's not yet 6 a.m., but still good for me in Australia, or also known as Mars. Very nice that you watch from Mars, Chloe. GG Ryder, I have mentioned your show on one of the Ayn Rand channels. One guy explains stay away from Islam to the others. Huh, that's cool. That is cool. C, great work. Did you say something else? I already read it as great work. I wonder what you said now. Let's see, what did you say? It's fine, but you probably made a mistake there, but I just read it the correct way. Great at work. Okay, I was great at work. Fatih Hamad, he's such a cutie pie. I know, right? He is. I would like to see him dead one day. Vaming Xiong said, AP is an undercover Christian working for David Wood and getting paid by Jews. Welcome to the Christian Brotherhood, AP. It's true. I'm a secret Christian and Jew, paid by Israel, Mossad, and the CIA. Lazy Bar said, have you seen 5 Pillars? They discuss quite openly on how to implement Sharia in Muslim-majority countries. Yeah, they are scumbags. 5 Pillars UK are scumbags and terrorist advocates. Hope they get banned soon. C said it's Palestine or Palestine, but yeah, no props calling West Bank and Gaza Palestine or Palestinian territories. Yeah. Or you can call it Palestinian territories in order to discuss that. I think Jews totally have the right to call it Judea and Samaria, the West Bank. Call of Ghidorah said, AP, if Muhammad knew of him, do you think he would have considered Odin to be the Dajjal, considering he's always depicted with one eye? That's a good question. That's funny. Because Muhammad, you can see how he learns of certain things and he panics, or he has these weird interpretations of things. That's actually a funny question. Hypothetical situation where Muhammad is informed about Odin, he would probably think, he might be the Dajjal. That's funny. I always found it funny that Odin was depicted in Nordic mythology as the guy who sacrifices his eye to gain more knowledge. Very interesting stuff. G.G. Rada, Palestine region accurate, includes Jordan. Palestinians created so Yasser Arafat could be Fidel Castro of Middle East and kill Yehuda. Human Kirk said this is like North Macedonia, claiming to be Macedonians like Alexander the Great. Real Macedonians are Greeks, current Macedonians are Slavs. Yeah, that's an endless discussion. Funny how Macedonia recently adopted the name North Macedonia, though, didn't they? That's funny, officially. Chloe L. Mars is fake. The space virgins I filmed in my yard. Oh, yeah, I believe you completely. Aviel Yagudev said, I was the last question to Hakikachi on your debate about the claim to the land. He didn't even answer it. This guy is a joke. He did that with much of what happened during the debate. I'm still so happy with the debate, and I think it was fantastic. Fantastico. Thank you, Aviel. Lazy Bar said, if Muhammad, founder of Islam, thank you for clarifying that, is alive today, do you think he will be surprised that his religion became so big? Yeah. I was thinking of making a skit on that, on how Muhammad is suddenly brought back alive today and then looks at the world and thinks, wow, amazing. But then he looks at what the Muslims are doing in the world and he's like, what? Are these people stupid? Anyway, and then he tries to find a little girl to get married to a little girl. Okay, thanks everybody. I am going to leave it here. I wanted to make this very short to make it more watchable, but I will be back later today with David Wood on his channel, and where we will talk about Jesus and where I will cry. And maybe this time we will not talk about pedophiles and grown guys trying to get married to little 6-year-old children. I hope so. I don't know. I'm kind of sick of that. I'm sick of pedophiles. All colors are entombed in black, said Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. AP, my video on narcissism, Islam, and pro-Palestine protests is almost done. If you want to check it out once I drop it, I will check it out. Send it to me and link it. Spoiler, it talks about cult dynamics. Cool, I'll check it out. Until then, the ICJ said it. Israel wanted it. Hamas has to comply now. This says, bring them home now. Can you make it sharper? Damn it. Bring them home now. Bring them home now. Bring them home now. I stand with Israel. Just saying this so I can get paid by Israel, by the way. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Have a fantastic day. And as always, stay away from child molesters.